Championship. Remember, 3 cars separated by just 1 single point in the championship, so there's going to be lots of maths going on towards the end of this one. And let's just wait and see as the lights go out. It is a brilliant start from the rear-wheel drive BMW of John Lyne. I thought he might get a good start. He carves his way through the field past Justin Robertson. Heath-driven car, but we've got a couple of cars off. 2 Lotuses have made contact. Mick Presland is one of them, I'm afraid, that has had a spin and has clogged the barriers. And the other car, I will try and work out exactly who that is as and when I can see the number of it. But we've got a couple of cars in the tyres at the start here, and John Lyne getting a bit of a tag in the background.
And just as an update, one of those cars has not got going. One has, but one hasn't.
Yeah, Mick Presland was one of them. His car is not going, and so that's been covered by localised yellow flags at the moment, but with that car stricken at the very edge of the circuit in a very dangerous place on the approach towards Paddock Hill Bend, I suspect I know what the next thing that's going to happen is. Race continues for the meantime though, and it is still the 2 Renault Clio teammates busy squabbling away as things stand. Adrian Pottinger and Charlie Polk are pretty much matched for pace in qualifying. They are matched for pace at the moment, and with the stricken car there finally getting going, looks as though we are going to avoid having to go safety car by this things.
Really good work. However, it's very slow, and the leaders are coming up towards the back of it, top of the Paddock Hill, so not a highly desirable situation there. It's offline, it's going very slowly, but not a great moment for the leaders there.
No, not at all. The cars are having to jink around that Lotus, which is trying to get out of harm's way. It's staying right on the curb line, but yeah, scary moment for the drivers behind when all of a sudden you see the yellow flags probably in the periphery of your vision, and then you see the white flags being waved, which is what indicates that the car is travelling slowly, and then you have to alter the trajectory of the car in damp conditions. Adrian Pottinger leading the way from Charlie Polk in 2nd place, and it looks as though Mick Presland has got front suspension damage and might ultimately end up parking the car up on the runoff area up at Druids, which is still less than ideal. He tried to get it out of the way but couldn't quite get round Druids to get the car fully out of harm's way, so begs the question as to what might need to happen again now with that car stricken elsewhere now around the circuit.
It's a busy field, isn't it, with 19 rows of taking the start of the race. It's going to be busy for a 45-minute race pretty much from the start until the end.
It is through and over the start-finish line they'll go. So we've got Pottinger from Polk, then Jack goes, followed by the Justin Roberts and Michael Heath shared number 70 Honda. The best of the fights at the moment is John Lyne at the wheel of the BMW. He's got Wayne Cottrell queuing up behind him, looking to try and weave his way through, but in a straight line the Beamer has more power than the Toyota behind. As you would expect, it's a Class B car fighting away with a Class C car, so in a straight line the BMW just edges away again from the Toyota, but right behind the Toyota of Wayne Cottrell we've also got more cars squabbling away, and one of those would be Chris Reed at the wheel of the Mini, who has got right on his bumper the number 12 Renault Clio, which is the Jack Kemp and Louis Harvey car, which had the off in qualifying and arguably is a little bit out of position and trying to make its way through the order, so it's picked off the silver Mazda of Alistair Easom on this lap, and it's now the Renault Clio looking to see whether it can sit on the coattails of the Mini and gain another place there. So through go the leading pair. 1/6 of a second separates the 2 Unique Racing teammates at this stage, but still Adrian Pottinger that leads the race, Charlie Polk in 2nd, and we've still got that stricken car of Mick Presland stationary up there at Druids. In fact, he's trying to get going again, isn't he? He's now right on the apex curve at Druids. I think the best bet for Mick Presland now will be exactly what he's doing, pulling the car off onto the grass on the inside, right at the exit of Druids, and if he can get the car right up against the barriers there, might have taken a couple of laps to get the car out of harm's way, but he's done it. Yeah, brilliant driving, brilliant forethought from Mick Presland. He has averted, I think, a safety car there with that driving.
Yeah, which was ultimately, I was just wondering, because it was just beyond the pit lane exit, so if the stricken car had finally got going and then gone the wrong way into the
briefly, yes, yeah.
What would that be? Would that be allowed? Because that would be the ideal.
You would think it would be frowned upon, but on that occasion it might have been the best thing to do.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I was just wondering that when I was trying to second guess what he was going to do.
Matt Swaffer's being kept busy as well at the wheel of his number 45 BMW. Matt, who's been racing BMWs for donkey's years. This is a Class B car. He's got the Ford Fiesta right behind him, which will be the Henry Wright and Kevin Glover Class D machine at this stage. But for the lead of the race, Adrian Pottinger leading the way at the moment. Remember, the car that leads the race at the moment is the car that leads the championship by that single point at this stage.
And with an advantage of just under 1 second at the end of 4 laps in a 45-minute race with pit stops. There was a bit of contact, was there? I think there was on the run down towards Graham Hill, and a bit more as well. This is like touring cars, this. It's not meant to be, is it? Trackday Trophy.
Yeah, that was John Lyne, wasn't it, who was right up onto the coattails of Chris Reed, and the two of them just sort of banged door to door, didn't they?
Yeah, you got a great start. Colin Turkington off the line.
That's the other thing I like about this championship, is that you can have very different cars, some of which are in the same class, some of which aren't. So in the case of the BMW and the Mini, they are in separate classes, but
they're the same mark. Two BMWs
they are
into each other.
But they excel at different parts of the circuit. The Beamer's got more power in a straight line, but it's not as good through the corner as the Minis.
Yeah, absolutely right. Couldn't between the two of them. And when I say bashing into them, I think it was a light
touch, yeah. It's just a swirl mark down the door of John Lyne's car. And here we go. Up the inside goes Chris Reed into the braking area for Druids. Can the Mini make it through? It tried it on the entry. Is it going to be through on the exit? Yes, it is, by the look of things. Yep, so the Mini goes through and gains the place. That's up into 8th position now, and that's an off, and that is Alistair Easom into the barriers. Damage to the right rear corner of his Mazda.
Hit the guardrail, didn't it?
Yeah. He was running in 12th position. Could be the end of the race for him with that damage, I'd have thought.
Yeah, it took quite a thump. Not good news. If you just have a look at the gone.
No, he's going, and he's flying around the circuit with no obvious intent that he's going to be heading into the pit lane.
He hasn't seen the outside of his car, has he?
So yeah, rear quarter panel done, the bumper just hanging off in a corner, but oh, there we go, and he's had another spin now as he heads up towards Surtees and has just avoided going into the gravel trap, I think, there.
Wow. The car stays there at the moment, so it's stricken in the gravel trap, so gets going again, so it's been a bit of an interesting lap, this one, hasn't it?
It certainly has been.
The car's not right, is it? Not by a long way. It's making its way into the pit lane. I'm surprised the front body load bashing onto the rear tyre.
Yeah, you can see the tyre up, can't you? So Alistair Easom comes into the pit lane. In the meantime, the squabbling out on circuit still continues. The Robin Ashley Hornigold MGZR trying to apply the pressure to the BMW 1 Series that lies ahead, whilst you've got a 3 Series Compact right behind it. So this is going to be a long way down through the order that this battle is going on. It's going to be something like mid-teens, really. Number 120 BMW ahead of Sam Pearce, then the MGZR, and behind them is going to be the 334 car, isn't it, which is going to be the Barney Lower and Dean Long car. We weren't handed starting drivers, so we don't know which driver started on the wheel of this one.
No, but we can give you both of the names of the drivers that will be at some stage taking the wheel of the car over the course of 45 minutes.
New fastest lap of the race for Adrian Pottinger that time through, who leads the race now by nearly 2 seconds, as we get a bit of an overtake there going on. The Mini trying to sneak through it up the inside of the number 38 Ford Fiesta, so that's Henry Wright and Kevin Glover's car that loses a place. It tries to fight back on the run in towards the braking area for Druids, but looks as though the job is done there, and the position is gained by the Mini, which is William Lynch, who's gone through, and that's now going to put William Lynch up into 13th position.
I'm just thinking ahead towards the end of the race. We've got multiple classes here. We've got podiums for all classes.
I would have thought so, yeah, I would have thought so. More problems, that's the BMW Z4 convertible of the Novobilski family that's got problems.
Those wheels are not pointing in the right direction, are they?
No, that's Richard Novobilski and Christoph Novobilski that share that car. They were running 29th. I think retire the car, are they? Yeah, and they're trying to limp the car into a position of safety, but again, that is on the outside of Graham Hill Bend where they have stopped at the moment, so that is another car that is not particularly in a safe place for the moment. The change of order there, so that's another place lost for the MGZR of the Hornigolds. So that now means that the BMW Compact of Barney Lower and Dean Long has gone through to pick up the place, so both BMWs now ahead of the MGZR. So that's going to put the MGZR1 down into 18th position, the way things currently stand. New fastest lap of the race, John Lyne, 9th position, the BMW, 1 minute 2.075 from John Lyne, who's been a front runner in the Trackday Championship for a good number of years now. The blue BMW going well.
Got a really good start, as we described. Led into...
Didn't quite get the lead, no.
But really good start, and then went backwards on the opening and second lap, putting in the fastest lap. It's got good pace, although fastest lap held now by number 70 car, Justin Roberts, Michael Heath, and Honda Civic.
Into the pit lane has come the number 30 Ford Fiesta, so that's David Evans that is in, and that is before the pit window opens, so this is an unscheduled pit stop. You can see mechanics looking around the tail end of the car to try and sort a problem out, whilst the race leader is still trying to thread his way through and past the traffic at the moment. David Alexander's Lotus, which was the other car that got tangled up in that start line incident, is just about to be lapped by our race leader. You can see the damage to the front right corner of the Lotus, a flash of the lights for Adrian Pottinger as he tries to weave his way through and past it. Is he going to sneak through on the inside line heading in towards Paddock Hill Bend? No, David Alexander, long-time Lotus racer, having none of it.
And I hate to do housekeeping on air. Do you want me to go down for the pit stops, or should I stay here and dry? I think the clue is in the question.
Stay here in the dry, Alan. How's that? Is that the answer you were after?
We like that. Very good. Yes,
well, they're so short, the pit stops. It's a 15-minute pit stop. And by the time you're down there, you spoke to a couple of drivers, the pit stops are finished. And you don't always know where the cars are as well. So you don't get a garage plan, do you, as to where they're going to be, because they're not in the garages, these cars. They can position themselves anywhere in the pits. New fastest lap of the race has been bouncing around because Jack Goes had picked up the fastest lap of the race at the wheel of the Volkswagen Scirocco. It's now Matt Swaffer in the BMW 1 Series, number 45, that's picked up the fastest lap of the race.
It's right the way down through the field.
It is.
It's a proper trading game, isn't it?
Yeah, 1.588 from Matt Swaffer, as race leader finally has gone through Adrian Pottinger past David Alexander's car, and then Charlie Polk. Well, that's Charlie Polk that's now gone through, so that's the sister car and off. And I'm afraid, and into the gravel trap, we have lost one, and it is Sam Pearce that's gone off, and that's in the gravel trap at Druids Corner. Well and truly into the gravel is the BMW 1 Series. You see the wheels spinning, trying to get the car out, but it's going to go nowhere for the moment. So our race leader for the 12th time down through Graham Hill Bend. We're fast approaching pit stop window as well, because pit stop window will open at the half-hour point, so another 2 and a bit minutes we'll be there.
Car in the gravel Druids being indicated on the live timing screen. TSL-timing.com is the website address for not only the live timing but also all of the PDF booklets giving you every single bit of information about all of the races, not just this weekend but right away throughout the year for MSV. It's a great website, particularly if you like your stats from days gone by.
Yeah, years and years and years of statistics for every single race meeting are on there. Number 71, John Lyne, still trying to thread his way through and past the traffic. He'll know that he needs to get on with it, because if he looks in his mirrors, he's got the Honda Integra DC5 of the Abbitt not that far behind him. That's Dan and Ben Abbitt, who are trying to close in on the BMW. And those two cars are again in different classes. A Class B car for John Lyne, a Class C car for the Abbitts. Remember, that's all down to the power to weight ratio of the car, so if you've got between 150 and 175 brake horsepower per tonne, you're a Class B car. If you're between 126 and 150 brake horsepower per tonne, which the Honda has, you're a Class C car. All of that is calculated on the Championship rolling road, which attends every single round. Right, okay, safety car, I'm afraid to say, is coming out. That's because of the stricken car of Sam Pearce in the gravel trap. The safety car is coming out, Alan, with a minute to go before the pit window opens. So I have a sneaky suspicion I know what's going to happen when that pit window opens.
I think you're absolutely right. Yeah, the timing couldn't be more critical, really. With just 1 minute to go now until the pit stop window opens. Safety car being deployed, being shown around the circuit, and it starts to get a bit more gloomy as well here. Don't forget, we had about 20 minutes ago a little shower before the race got underway. It's darkening down, and we might get another shower as well. So how much drama do you want over the course of this?
We've got another one that's gone off just as the safety car is coming out. The number 79, Chris Wolfensball, Ford Fiesta. Brief trip into the gravel.
Yeah, got back going again, didn't it? So maybe the only reaction of that is to pull a little bit of gravel out onto the circuit. You can see that stricken BMW in the gravel trap on the outside of Druids.
tried to do some maths just to see if I can understand as to what might happen at the end of this one.
Very much the Carol Vorder we have this weekend.
I've been called worse things.
No, I fully understand.
I think Steve Summers, we can pretty much discount the equations. They all file their way into the pit lane, so they're all trundling their way down the pit lane, Alan, as expected, right at the sharp end of the pit stop window. You've got the safety car out there. Why would you not come into the pits and pit on the safety car?
A few of them haven't, and coming up towards the line now. Crossing the line is the number 38 car, so that car, Henry Wright and Kevin Glover in their D-Class Ford Fiesta, elect to stay outside the circuit. But yeah, you're quite right, you would imagine that most of them will come in. We don't know how long this safety car is going to be in order to pull the BMW out, but to give an idea, there we are, we can see it, the telehandler has pulled the car backwards, is now almost entirely on the tarmac. Let's get the car out. The car doesn't look damaged, it just needed that extra hand from the telehandler to get out of the gravel trap. So it might well be that the car under its own steam can get going now, and we can very quickly see the safety car being brought back into the race go live.
A quick calculation of maths. If Adrian Pottinger stays where he is, which is in the lead of the race, he'd pick up the 30 points, plus he's beaten 5 cars in his class, plus he gets the extra point for pole position. He would pick up 36 points in this race. Remember, that's the car that leads the championship by a single point. Stuart Donovan, he would get 24 points at the moment, because he would get, let's have a quick look, not 24 points, it would be less than that. He would get 12 points, plus 5 points for beating 5 cars in his class, plus 5 points for beating 5 cars in a class above him. So he would end up on 22 championship points, which means at the moment, the way things are, the championship is going the way of the number 89 car of Adrian Pottinger, which resides down in the pit lane at the moment. And it was a unique racing of pitting both of their cars as exactly the same time. One car that didn't pit, though, was the number 92 Honda Integra DC5 of the Abbitt. So they go through to pick up the lead of the race at this stage. So they are on lap number 16, 27.5 minutes remain. And what of the recovery of the car at Druids? Well, in answer to that, Sam Pearce's car already dealt with up there very effectively by the marshals and the telehandler. The car's out of harm's way.
Just the legacy of the marks and it was quite deep, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Probably the legacy of what's left in the ground. So it's quite deep. Furrow dug into the gravel track. The telehandler is complete. Back to station. And the Abbitt's leading. We've got 16 laps completed now. But the Abbitts did not come into pit lane.
No, and we go green. It was, I think every other car came in, yeah. We've gone green again now as well, so we're no longer under safety car conditions. So the race is back underway in reality, so those squabbles can resume again. John Lyne trying to thread his way through and past John Dundee's Ginetta G40. Matt Swaffer just behind as well at the wheel of his BMW 1 Series, the number 45 car. Matt Swaffer still with the fastest lap of the race. He's down there in 13th place, or was at least at the start of the previous lap. This time as he comes over the start-finish line, we'll have to work out exactly where Matt Swaffer is. There's a whole chunk of cars which I don't think are quite realised that the race is back underway. We've got some cars going over the start-finish line very, very slowly, and other cars going back through at full racing pace.
That's peculiar, isn't it? It's got again, a little bit darker once again, and umbrellas have gone up, so I think we are back under wet conditions for this race. It's going to chop and change, isn't it, as far as conditions are concerned, looking down at the pit lane into one of the stops.
That's the bumps in the gravel.
I think quite a bit of gravel needs to be pulled out of the car. The team certainly looking behind the front wheels to see if they can check to make sure everything's okay. We'll imagine that picks up quite a bit of gravel.
Yeah, all in the brakes. I think busy team, aren't they, Graves Motorsport nowadays? Not just with what they do here in the Trackday Championship, but also in the Mini Challenge. They've also got cars now, of course, competing in the Porsche Sprint Challenge as well, haven't they? The Caymans.
Highly professional outfit. They need to transport it down in the paddock to realise just how seriously they take their motorsport. And one of these top running teams. Good to see.
And the way you've colour coded all of your classics as well. That's very clever.
Thanks very much. Yeah, I use the pit stops to do that.
So we've still got out front leading away the number 92 Honda. It has still not as yet pitted as it clambers its way uphill in towards the braking area for Druitt. It's on lap number 19 at the moment, and it has got the best part of a 2-lap advantage. The reason it's got that 2-lap advantage is because, remember, when you pit, you have to stop for 2 minutes from pit in to pit out, which is roughly 2 laps. So wait and see where it feeds back out. It can still stay out there another 9.5 minutes yet, so there's no reason that Honda needs to come into the pits as yet. They might be gambling the fact, Alan, there could be a second safety car and they can come back in and pit on their second one.
And particularly bearing in mind the conditions have changed once again. It's highly probable. Not gambling on, hoping for, I think is the answer there.
Always do like the shape of the Honda Integra DC5. Here they come in now, so they're not going to pit under safety car. They are going to come in now and pit under green. So this is going to undo some of the hard work, in reality, that they had been doing. It's just to see exactly where that car feeds back out. It will put into the lead of the race, I think, the Toyota of Stuart Donovan, who, the wheel of his Class C car, is going to pick up the lead of the race, I think.
I think you're right. Let's not forget the Honda Integra was a very dominant car for quite a period in the British Touring Car Championship. And, it's still a great looking car now.
It is, yeah, absolutely. It was never actually sold in this country, was it? That shape DC5?
Not that type of Integra. The previous shape Integra did, because I have one. It's a really nice car.
Right, race leader just heading in towards Paddock Hill Bend. The number 112 Toyota leads the way, Stuart Donovan. Remember, he leads the championship standings as well. Look in his mirrors, who's right behind him? The Renault Clio of Adrian Pottinger, who is only 1 single point adrift of him in terms of the championship standings. So my maths that I had done during the pit stops, I can screw those up straight away and get rid of them, because all of a sudden...
Did you do them in pencil?
I did them in pen, Alan. No. All of a sudden, we've got some more maths to do again. So Stuart Donovan is leading the race overall, leading his class. He'll pick up 5 extra points for beating 5 cars in his class. He'll pick up 5 extra points for beating 5 cars in the class above him, Class B. How's he getting on with fastest lap in Class C at the moment? 1 minute 2.009 from him is probably going to be the fastest lap in Class 2 as well. So we'll have to try and work out this one. No, not quite. We've got 1 minute 1s in Class C, so he's not going to get the extra point for that. So I'll be doing some maths whilst you're heading to the podium, I think, Alan, because this is going to be a complex one.
I think it was always going to be, wasn't it? Yeah. So Mark's in charge of the mathematics. We've got 22 minutes of the race remaining. Everybody has taken their pit stops now, which is good news. So no more activity down at the pit lane on the scheduled part of the race. Potentially, you can see cars coming in. Isn't it good to see such a remarkable cross-section of motors all competing alongside?
I think mathematically the championship looks good for Stuart Donovan at the moment, because the difficulty that the Renault Clio of Adrian Pottinger has in second place is that even if he gets through and ahead of Stuart Donovan, yes, he would then pick up the 30 points for the win and Stuart would only pick up 27, but Stuart is a Class C car, and because he can score 1 point for every car he beats in the class above him, he's going to net those extra 5 championship points that aren't available to Adrian Pottinger. So it does look good for Stuart Donovan potentially for the championship with 21 minutes to go at this stage. The lead advantage is just 0.3 of a second from first to second place, and as they head up towards the conclusion of the lap, Stuart Donovan has got some traffic that he's going to try and contend with, but I think he's potentially going to get held up by that traffic.
So this is quite exciting, isn't it? After the pit stops, just 0.2 of a second between the two. What have you got, Mark?
No, nothing. I was just waving at the guests in the commentary box.
I think that's something exciting happening over at Surtees and McLaren. But Donovan leads 0.2 of a second the advantage over Pottinger in car number 89. So 112 leads 89. 98 is in third place, and that's the car of Charlie Polk in the Renault Clio. And then we get back to the lead for the race. This is quite a battle, isn't it? With the Celica going wide, allowing the Clio to have a little look on the inside as they go up to complete another lap. They're going to be be side by side on the run up towards the line. It's going to be just advantage Celica, just ahead of the Renault Clio, but I fancy that Renault Clio has maybe got the run down and towards Paddock Hill Bend. They're going to be side by side, but it's just the advantage of the Renault Clio. So the number 89 Clio goes into the lead. Pottinger it is that leads, and now they've completed 21 laps.
Yep, so that's 30 points potentially for Adrian Pottinger for the win, plus the extra point he gets for the pole position, plus the extra 5 points he will get for beating at least 5 cars in his class. So that would net him 36 championship points. For Stuart Donovan, it's 27 points for second, but he's still beating 5 cars in his class and still beating 5 cars in the class above him. So mathematically, Stuart Donovan is still in a good position for the championship, but he doesn't really want to risk dropping from second down to third or third down to fourth, so he's got to keep going if he wants to try and lift the title.
Again, that's a really different line going into going through Clearways. In fact, a really wide line, very much on the wet part of the circuit for the Celica in second place, but you're right, he can't afford to lose anything more, can he?
No, he can't, no. So 9/10 of a second between the pair of them. John Lyon has a big moment going through Surtees and rejoins eventually at McLaren on towards Clearways corner. The front of that car, the splitter on it, remains intact, but it is absolutely covered in grass. The one good thing is that he's not got any grass on the radiator ducts, but that's a scary moment.
I was going to say, yeah, that's just collecting grass, which presumably will have until the end of the race, because it continues on its way. Lucky the car wasn't damaged with that bounce over the grass, but certainly the car looks to be going absolutely fine. It's had an up and down race, that car, hasn't it? The start of the race, absolutely brilliant, then dropped back, then got fastest lap, now has been off on the grass, but the good news is that the car is still going. Very good news indeed.
It is, yeah, and he's now got a back marker or a couple of back marker cars between himself and the next car that he's doing battle with, because the next car behind him is the number 45 white BMW 1 Series of Matt Swaffer, and then right behind Matt Swaffer is the number 39 car of Paul McHugh as well, his Honda Civic, the Team Rabea racing machine. So BMW from Honda, all of those fighting away for final 3 places inside the top 10 actually, for 8th, for 9th and for 10th position, with just under 18 minutes now remaining.
Pottinger, Polk and Donovan, the top 3 over the line at 23 laps completed. Still it's the number 45 car of Matt Swaffer in his BMW that's got the fastest lap of the race. What is that lap time? 61.201 is the fastest lap of the race. That is the car that holds the fastest lap of the race, looking to be circulating in reasonable isolation in front of the car and picking the lines as it goes through Paddock Hill Bends up towards Hellwood Hill and up towards Druids, with the wipers on all the way around the circuit, the umbrellas up all the way around the circuit as well. It's gone from wet to dry, not a dry track, but certainly not raining, and now back to wet again. They really have had it to contend with, haven't they, during this race. 45-minute race, just under 17 minutes remain.
Yeah, when you haven't got that consistency, you're having to adjust your, not just the speed you carry into corners and how you modulate the brake and how you modulate the acceleration as well, but you're also having to potentially pick different lines, because once it starts to get wet, you don't need the usual racing line again. You'll have to go offline that little bit more. So it's lap after lap after lap, feeling the car, looking at what the cars around you are doing as well, and seeing whether they're getting quicker off the corner because of the line they're taking, or whether they are slower, and evaluating all of that and trying to press on as best as you can. Now, Adrian Pottinger still continues to lead the way at the moment. The sister car to it of Charlie Polk is now up into second place, because Stuart Donovan has now slipped down into third position at the wheel of the black and the light green Toyota. Now he is 5.8 seconds up the road from the next car that will take a place away from him, which is Chris Reed. But that does now mean that Adrian Pottinger leading the way. Again, I'll have to do a little bit of maths at the moment. It's 30 points, plus he qualified on pole position, plus 5 would still net him 36 championship points. For Stuart Donovan, he's now slipped to third, so it would be 24 plus 5 plus 5 at the moment, which would be 34 championship points, which now means Adrian Pottinger is in position to win the championship, if I've got the maths right, at the wheel of the race leading Renault Clio.
We trust your mathematics. It's very impressive the way you do this. Without the aid of the calculator, the phone looks to be in a very precarious position there. I'm not sure I trust you on this one.
I think I'm right.
Okay.
As I've said before, Miss Quarmby always told me maths was never my strong point.
No, Mr. Tulon said much the same to me.
So, fights continuing round through the order. This is the number 97 car. Dave Connell sharing that car with Alex Wilkinson-Hughes. Over the start-finish line goes Stuart Donovan. Is he the champion-elect? Is he not? Again, we'll double-check the maths at the end, but for the moment, I don't think he is. He ideally needs to try and see if he can close back up onto the Charlie Polk car that overtook him, but no, he's falling more away from it. And remember, I did say that Stuart Donovan had got 5.8 seconds in hand between himself and the next car behind him, which is the number 114 Chris Reed driven Mini Cooper. Well, that's now down to 4 seconds, so 5.8 seconds from third to fourth becomes 4 seconds. Stuart Donovan cannot and can ill afford to lose time, let alone places. Has now closed. Matters not, everybody that is still circulating has pitted. Up towards Druids goes the number 2 Caterham of Ben Grewcock. Remember I said I thought he'd qualified a little bit out of position, that number 2 car?
You did, yeah.
Yeah, I did. Well, where did he start? Because he was a long, long way down the order. 20th position, was he? On the grid, something like that. 29th position on the grid. I did say I thought he'd make progress. He's 18th now.
That's not bad, is it? And still 13.5 minutes remain to make up more places as well. Yeah, to have Caterhams and saloons all competing together. Every time I see the Caterham, it's the number 2 cars of Ben Grewcock and saloon cars in the background as well. It's just great. It's a great endorsement of sports cars, saloon cars, all competing together in Trackday Trophy, which essentially is a great representation of just what Trackday Trophy has been for MSVT.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've had a Caterham has won the Trackday Championship in the past as well. That was 2017 Frugal Racing with Ben Simmons, who doesn't race in it nowadays. He's racing the Caterham Championship generally. And Callum McDougall, who we'll see out later on in Enduro KA. They were the champions as Frugal Racing back in 2017 in the Caterham. So Stuart Donovan still continuing. He circulates in 3rd position. The gap that came down from 5.8 to 4 seconds is now down to 3.5 from the Toyota to the Mini of Chris Reed. That sits in the background of the television shot if you're watching on the stream. This time as they go over the start-finish line, the gap goes back out. It's back up to 4 seconds once more, but Stuart Donovan, to say, is getting caught by that Mini in clear air at the moment, and any further loss of place would be not beneficial to his championship position. It would also remove his lead of Class C, because the Mini of Chris Reed, another member of the Reed family, is also in Class C.
Disadvantages of motor racing dynasties is that very often we'll say the wrong Christian name, which is always something that sort of preempts the commentary with. We might do this wrong, so
yes.
Apologies.
Yes, hence why Darren Goes came to see me earlier on in the commentary box.
Did he? Oh,
yes, because we referred to Jack as Darren on a couple of occasions.
Did we? Was he happy or sad about that?
He was all right about it. He just wanted to point out our errors, which I did say. I'd already said I'm going to say Darren Goes rather than Jack Goes. But yeah, Jack Goes is sitting there in 7th position, car number 22 at the moment. Class leaders then at the moment. Leading the race overall, leading Class B is number 89, which is going to be the car of Adrian Pottinger. Look right behind him is teammate Charlie Polk. Now surely Charlie is not going to try and overtake his teammate, because if he were to, I think that would swing the championship back in favour of Stuart Donovan. That would not go down well, would it? No. Leading Class C is Stuart Donovan, the number 112 Toyota, who's there in 3rd position. And leading Class D at the moment, it's the number 38 Ford Fiesta of Henry Wright and Kevin Glover. They lead Class D as they sit there in 12th position. So those are your class leaders at this stage, with just under 11 minutes remaining.
It's a good team job, that, actually, because the advantage is 8 seconds between Polk and Donovan. So a rear gunner for Pottinger is quite a nice thing to have, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so. And Stuart Donovan just hasn't quite got the pace now. He's lapping. The last lap was about 0.8 of a second shy of the front runners, and I think this next time through it's probably going to be about a second shy of them. But say all Stuart needs to do is concentrate on what the gap is between him and the number 114 Mini, which is down to 3.4 seconds again in clear air.
10 minutes just over of the race remain. 45-minute race for Trackday Championship, Trackday Trophy coming up later on this afternoon. Full afternoon of streaming as well from MSVT. So once we complete our lunch break after the podium, we'll have a Trackday Trophy, the second race for the United Formula Ford. By the way, for our second Formula Ford race, we are giving them class awards, and we are also giving out the championship trophy for the champion of brands, and we're giving out a special trophy as well. So expect that to run pretty much for half of the following race for our United Formula Ford second race of the day. The Miata Trophy, they've got their second race of the day, and then we'll go quiet on the live stream, getting ready here at the circuit with an hour's qualifying for the Euro Enduro KAs.
Yeah, I mean, you can follow all of this on MSV.tv or the MSVT YouTube channel if you want to pick up the stream on your mobile device if you're here at the circuit, or maybe you can't stay with us for the full day. Right, what's going on at the moment? The Honda Integra DC5 of Dan and Ben Abbitt that circulates third in Class C, sixth overall, is threading its way through and past traffic. That is a car that is very much on its own at the moment. It hasn't really got anybody to play with. It is 12 seconds off the car ahead of it. It is about 5 seconds up the road from Jack Goes and the Volkswagen truck, who's there in 7th place. The gap they still want to keep an eye on is from the 3rd place Toyota of Stuart Donovan back to Chris Reed's Mini, because remember I was saying it was 3.4, it's now down to 2.8, so it is still being eaten into at this stage by the charging Mini, the largely black Mini with its white livery of Chris Reed, number 114.
So as far as class leaders are concerned, we're thinking we might get podiums for all of the classes, but it might just be the winners in each of the class, or the top 3 class winners. We shall wait and see for the end of the podium. It depends on that very much, who we're going to get to talk to at the end of this, but I've got a feeling if things continue the way they are at the moment, we're going to have a pretty happy celebration when the racing icon of Adrian Pottinger comes to a stop underneath the podium, because championship positions wise this is looking pretty good for the final race of the year.
William Lynch at the wheel of the Mini, who's running in 5th position, just exiting Druitt and down in towards Paddock Hill Bend. He again is another car that's very much on his own at the moment. He is running in the guest class, so he runs in Class G, so he's the guest class winner in reality, or leader at this stage. He is 7 seconds ahead, behind the car ahead of him, and he's got 14 seconds in hand to the next car back from him, so he's very much on his own at the moment. And I think that's another car that we'll see out both in this one, in TDC as it's called, Trackday Championship, and TDT, which is the Trackday Trophy. I think he's entering both over the course of this weekend. Adrian Pottinger still continues to lead. The lead advantage from his teammate, which is Charlie Polk, number 98, is still 1.1 seconds. That's unlikely to shuffle because the team will know what the championship positions and the points are, and they know that at the moment, if they hold station, stick with where they are, even with Stuart Donovan down there leading his class, Class C, still not sufficient, I don't think, for him to overhaul the championship points tally of Adrian Pottinger when the checker flag comes out in around about 6.5 minutes time. And we've got contact there, and that is the race leader that goes round, and that is not at all what Adrian Pottinger wanted. There was a little bit of contact between himself and Wayne Cockrell's Toyota. The Renault Clio is stricken in the middle of the circuit. Stuart Donovan goes through and past it, and just when all of a sudden you think where the championship title is heading, all of a sudden something happens, and that's not going to be the case now, because Charlie Polk, number 98, picks up the lead.
Wow, that was not to be expected, was it? With 6.5 minutes of the race remaining, and the car stricken in the centre of the circuit. Goodness me, that is drama in the final rounds of the year. Wow, the car gets going again now, which is good news, so it's no longer at right angles to the circuit. But that is drama indeed. Across the line it goes now, and the new race leader is car number 98, the Unique Racing Renault Clio of Charlie Polk. Now we're looking at the... Oh, you've got back to maths.
I've got back to maths again, so let me do some maths again.
I'm not surprised, because we're looking at the Celica, and that's the car, the 112 car of Donovan, Stuart Donovan, and that Toyota Celica potentially could be in a far better position. Now, as far as how you resolve championships are concerned, see, did we?
But how ironic was it that it was contact between that Clio and a Toyota that caused the spin, and now as a result of that another Toyota is going to benefit potentially, because yeah, having done the math, Stuart Donovan is on for 37 championship points potentially in this race. Adrian Pottinger would only pick up 26 if he remains in 5th position at the moment. Remember, there's only a championship point between the pair of them coming into this one, and for Adrian Pottinger, yeah, he would still keep the score that he's got, but was going to be dropped, and Stuart Donovan would also continue with the same drop score. So yes, that spin, that contact, all of a sudden means that Stuart Donovan potentially in 4.5 minutes' time could be the champion for this year. And there's not a great deal that the unique teammate Charlie Polk can now do about it, really, because he's leading the race. He's inherited the lead of the race as a result of that contact, but he can't help his teammates out now. He's too far back. If he slows up, all it does is it allows Stuart Donovan to catch up with the race leading car, and Stuart would evermore win the championship if he could take the win rather than second. So over the start finish line, 4 minutes to go. Charlie Polk leading the way. That's now 36 laps that have been completed by the race leading number 98 car. The gap between himself and Stuart Donovan is 10.5 seconds, but Stuart Donovan is now fully caught by the Mini behind in the hands of Chris Reed. So this again could potentially have a bit of an effect on the championship, because Stuart Donovan is leading his class, Class C, but look, right behind him is the Wolf Motorsport Mini, and Chris Reed is looking to try and pick up 2nd place and the lead of the class if he can squeeze his way through. Along the Cooper Straight. At the moment it's still Toyota ahead of Mini. If Stuart Donovan dropped a further place, that would put him still on 34 championship points rather than 26 of Adrian Pottinger. And is this going to be the change for the lead of the class here? Chris Reed got very close, but was not quite close enough, and now he almost runs out of room coming out of Clearway's corner, right onto the curb line and almost into the gravel there, but just about avoided it. You can see the orange spray of water that came up just as he got so close to the edge of the gravel trap there, onto the brakes, in towards Paddock Hill Bend. Work to do here, and there's a little puff of smoke there, and that's because the Mini has now gone off into the gravel trap by the look of things there. That must have been a big plume of spray actually as it ran wide. So Chris Reed knows the task in hand. He's working extra hard to try and work his way through, but there was a chink in the armour there, Alan, as he nearly put the car in the gravel.
Yeah, Donovan took a wide line going through Druids as well, and it's the wet part of the circuit, but it gave really good run down towards the left-hander at Graham Hill Bend. So the Toyota is running really, really well. So in terms of the Toyota doing 104 on the previous lap compares to the last lap for Charlie Polk, who got 102.781. So in the closing stages of this race, it's all getting a bit frantic, isn't it?
It is rather, isn't it? Yeah. What have we got with Adrian Pottinger now? He is still running in, what's that, 5th position. Yes. So he hasn't gained a further place as he sits his spin at the moment. So yeah, it looks as though Stuart Donovan at the moment is still on for the championship potentially. Charlie Polk is looking as though he could well be on for the win, because with 1 minute and 30 seconds to go for the penultimate time, he turns his way left through Graham Hill Bend, and well, we certainly couldn't have written the script for this one, because it all looked as though it was going the way of Unique Racing, didn't it? And then all of a sudden the tables turned, and it could be 7 Motorsport that become the champions of this year.
Yeah, you're quite right. I'm worried about my chances. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to get on the podium. I'm terribly worried.
Well, I don't know if you'll get the top 3 from each on the podium. I would have thought it'd just be the winners from each, but
I don't know.
You need to prep for all eventualities. Yes. So on to the final lap of the race comes Charlie Polk, the race leading number 98 Renault Clio, heads over the start finish line, leading by over 11.5 seconds now from Stuart Donovan in 2nd place. So Charlie Polk for the final time through Paddock Hill Bend. He's potentially going to have a busy final lap as well, because he's just about to catch a raft of traffic, which will include the likes of David Evans in the Ford Fiesta, the Horny Gold MG ZR, all of those cars which are already off the lead lap. It does look as though, if I've got the maths right, the championship title is going the way of Stuart Donovan. He's still got work to do though, because if he looks in his mirrors, the Mini that was almost in the gravel at Paddock Hill Bend a few laps ago, Chris Reed, has caught right back up.
Yeah, the Mini has been flying, absolutely flying, and continues to do so as it makes its way around Graham Hill Bend, down onto the Cooper Straight, on the run down towards now the left-hander at Surtees. Plenty of traffic to deal with. Look at that Toyota and Mini. The gap comes down, ever down, as they come down through the Cooper Straight into McLaren, into Clearways. Here's the race leader.
Charlie Polk claims the final win of the year in the MSVT Trackday Trophy. But if I've got the maths right, if Stuart Donovan tries to hang on to his position, which is second place, that should be sufficient for the Toyota to lift the championship crown this year, subject to official confirmation. Through comes Stuart Donovan to finish in second position, and Chris Reed, busy old race, nearly went off the circuit again at Clearways that time through, was pushing so hard to catch the Toyota, but he finishes in third place. William Lynch in his Mini, number 18, comes through to finish in fourth place, and what bitter disappointment for Adrian Pottinger, who looked as though he's doing everything right, but the contact with the back marker cost him the spin, cost him places. You could argue cost him the championship as he comes through to finish in fifth place. And the Abbitts, the last of the cars to pit, the only car that I don't think pitted under anything other than the safety car, they pitted under green, still finished in sixth position, so that's a good result for them.